Hello and welcome to a game by Eidos Interactive and published by Crystal Dynamics, if I remember right. It's in that order anyway. It is Soul Reaver 2. I'm actually playing this on PC. I was going to emulate it, but one, the emulator is a bit naff, and two, I actually found out, yes, I can do it on PC. It's a bit iffy because the right analog stick doesn't work. The right analog stick's meant to be controlling the camera, but there's ways that I've tried to work around that. For example, the triggers actually make me look left and right, but they're meant to actually be crouch and... one minute. Crouch and free look. Also, I think the music might be a bit loud, I'll have to change it in a wee second. But I'll get to that. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to have to also cut the recording and let the cutscene play. So, with that said, I'll see you there. So, I'll see you on the other side of the cutscene. It's essentially a reenactment of the end scene from, like, Soul Reaver 1. So, see you there.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Cain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Cain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds. Completely.
Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
So, with
Where
that,
am
welcome
I?
back to the other
Is
side.
the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt?
I believe that's the last FMV cutscene.
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands...
And the rest of them are all in-game like
This
this.
is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Cain, some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it grieves me to see how cruelly Cain has used you. I
love how
knew you when you were
Raziel's just
one of the
floating in the
Seraphim
background.
Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
I mean, look at that, he's just floating.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Seraphim have long since passed, I'm afraid. This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
And you somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated. Only we 3 were spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me so? Your malefactor, Cain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Cain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you. Even now, Cain is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars he is destined to destroy, foolishly confident that he has eluded your grasp.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Cain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Cain's very existence is a cancer upon this world. As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage, Go to him, Raziel, and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you.
Indeed.
Try to keep the casualties to a minimum.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep as quiet as possible during cutscenes.
Do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Alone now, I surveyed my surroundings and noticed a second time-streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how, I had not yet discovered.
So yeah, in the background here we have the displays of Vorador. I think that might be one of the Guardians, but I don't quite know, honestly. But basically this is just Vorador slaying what I believe is the Guardians anyway. Just pictographs of him doing it. You know, in an attempt to vilify him as much as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6? 6 of the 7, I think? But alas, that was when he brutally murdered them all. The one difficulty I've had with the controller is I'm meant to be able to use the stick to look up and down. Instead, I've got the free look only. I'm meant to be able to look up and down using the stick as well, but alas, I can only really do that. But yeah, I've mounted free look onto the start button and crouch onto the stick itself. But I've tried it for a bit and it seems to be working fine enough, so hey, let's just continue, shall we? I'll be honest, I went through this a bit. The combat seems a bit looser and a bit better. Alas, we'll have to find out how it continues to go, as I just fail horribly at combat suddenly. We also now have the ability to block. It's not massively useful, because more often than not, if they see you blocking, they'll just do a heavy attack. And I've also noticed that I've not got this on the right bit rate. Not that you can probably tell that much, but, you know, I'll be back in a second when I fix that. Okay, apologies about that. I forgot that I had done the stream on Saturday, so, you know, the settings were a bit different for that. But alas, it's back now. Anyway, let's continue. Hey there. Oh, you sneaky... Ah. It's gonna take a bit to get used to the controls. You know, for the combat. Because it is different now. Not only that, the frame rate seems a bit naff when it's recording. It doesn't seem to like recording this. Well, I'll try and pamper with it a bit more afterwards. Hey there. So the combat's a little bit less tight. Not tight, a little better basically. It's not as naff and all over the place as the combat in the first game, but that's kind of to be expected. You know, with the evolution of gameplay, etc. Hey there. Ah! I love being stuck in the corner like that. Yeah, there's something wrong with the frame rate, which is causing my attacks to just go through the enemy. Ha! I'll definitely have to try and fix that between episodes. But alas.
Throughout the stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Cain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me.
Not a good idea to let them behind me. I mean, who would have thought it would be anyway, let's be honest. We can't feed as easily in the middle of combat, because I have to unlock like that first. So it's a bit more difficult to do the feeding in combat. The AI is a bit better about not letting you just sit here doing that. So there are some things about the AI that is made a bit more difficult. Come on then. Just you and me, boy. Nah, I shouldn't have blocked that. Oh. Come on then. I don't know if you can see this horrible frame rate happening or if it's just in my screen. Maybe it's just something you can feel instead of actually see, but hey, we'll have a look later. For now, we're here for the story. And let's be honest, what a story it is. Seriously, I love this story.
Away from the influence of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning. If that orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. But why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver?
Why indeed? It will be something we learn, but why indeed? Ah! It's tempting just to leave, honestly. Like, nope. There we go. I love it just disappeared.
As I neared the stronghold
Her body's just like,
sanctum, a strange sensation crept over me. An indescribable feeling of displacement, a sense of vertigo, as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me.
But yes, that's the second
disturbance
time
seemed to
happened.
emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel. As I cautiously approached, the sense of dislocation intensified with each step. So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Cain's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth. And here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy relic, and broken, apparently in the battle between William and Cain. I had not thought such a thing was possible. Until, of course, Cain shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus, the captive spirit inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell. I watched, mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade.
embracing its twin, its mirror self. The Reaver's long dormant spirit was now fully aroused, and for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity, willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command, and I, now merely its helpless host, felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host, and just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer merely my symbiotic weapon, but a sentient parasite competing for control. What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Cain who led you here, not I. While you curse me, the only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you, Cain laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have inspired terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you? You seem to have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Cain, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the Wheel of Fate demands it.
What did you say?
The Wheel of Fate. The inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. And I don't believe even you would take that risk.
I tire of your games, Mobius. Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Cain is waiting for me.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Cain out and destroy him, in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy. You are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
By my soul, you almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength. But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me.
I think we learn in this game, or we're given the
So
information.
this was the legendary Janos Ordrin, reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villages below. His reign of terror ended when the Seraphim finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body. This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness,
and was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife. The Sarafan therefore guarded it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordrin truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Sarafan, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy?
Anyway, as I was saying, I think it's this game we learn what the soul within the blade is. But I can't remember exactly. But alas, I'm going to try and get to the first save point as quickly as possible. The main reason being I don't want to end up going through all this again while trying to problem solve this frame rate issue, because the frame rate issue is a little bit annoying. I really honestly don't know if you can see it, but you might have heard that the blade clinked before it hit the ground. Also, we can now summon the blade at will. He says, double. Please? Oh, that's nice. Don't let me do it the right way. Yeah, there's definitely something up with the frame rate and stuff. Because half these attacks are just passing through him. It might not be viable to continue recording it on the PC, but we'll see. Maybe I just have to find a different way to record it.
My history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Sarafan brethren and myself. All of us martyred here, and then so cruelly profaned by Cain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Sarafan self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades. It tortured me to see how noble and pure I had been, and what a vile phantasm I had become. And a profound sense of injury, of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Cain and destroy him.
Hopefully the blade is exciting enough still. No, it's not, okay. To just one hit, I'm hoping. Ow! No, drop it! Raziel! Duh. Seriously though, I should just be double tap of that, and it really just is not working because of the frame rate. Oh! Yeah, I need to do it slower because of the frame rate to get it to summon. Ah! I'm seriously gonna have to fix this. But alas, yes, we actually found a memorial to basically our old selves. And the selves of our brothers. But I think I'll run past anyone I can right now, just due to the frame rate issues. Which is a shame, because I do like the combat in this one. This one and Defiance in particular have pretty good combat. I can't really remember much about Blood Omen 2, but I am going to have to do Blood Omen 2 after this one, because they introduce a new enemy.
And for the first time beheld Nosgoth in its former glory. The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality. And I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Cain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Cain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars lay to the northwest. If Cain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him.
Indeed we shan't. Anyway, let us just make our way over to this, and basically get told how we can't use it right now, but, you know, thought I might as well show you. These are things that we'll get to
I
later.
did not yet possess the means to unlock this barrier, but this enigmatic symbol was clearly the key.
But yeah, with us chasing after Kane, we've ended up bringing about the death of the second timeline. Well, it's more Kane that brought about the death of the second timeline, because he removed himself from its existence, so the pillars can't be restored. But alas, you know.
As I passed this arcane landmark, a wisp of the Reaver's energy was drawn to the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me.
So the beacons of the Ouroboros. Ouroboros? Ouroboros? Basically the snake you can use its own tail. I think it's Ouroboros. Yeah, I know what it is though. It's that symbol everyone goes to when they think about death and rebirth. I don't think there's anywhere we can really go over in that direction for now. There's not much to do over there. But we need to go over there, to the monolith. Because that's essentially our way of saving the game in this game. It's not just press start button, press save game, it's literally these monoliths here.
These ancient obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual
monoliths,
essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul, and thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey.
So with that, I will quickly save it and then leave it there. So, until next time, all the best. And sorry, I've not quite saved it yet in a while. I've never seen what it did for a while. Until the next time though, all the best, and I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you will enjoy, because I really do love the story for this game, and I hope I can get it to record proper.